test I take, I get an A. Yeah, screaming that's none. When I pulled out the lock, that's done. Doing my thing, homework all day, every day. Triggers is it, triggers is it, triggers is it, triggers is it. Seeing Mr. Ng's face during period 3. Triggers is it, triggers is it.
Hey guys, let's go over 1.7 quadratic inequalities. Here in my introduction, I have a warm-up. Determine whether each order pair is a solution of y is greater than negative x squared plus x minus 5. And this might help you. This is the x, and this is the y. Go ahead and press play when you want to see me go over these 5 problems. All right, for question number 1, I'm going to put in x equals 0. Let's highlight that so you can see it. And don't be intimidated by the inequality sign. Just think of it as an equal sign in some ways. Okay, every y value we're going to put in 0 here. X is 0. And we just go ahead and simplify. Remember, you're using PEMDAS. And you go in this direction to simplify. And that's what we're doing. So we're going to do exponents first. So 0 squared is 0. So opposite of 0 is 0. And 0 plus 0 is negative 5. So I have this inequality here. 0 is bigger than negative 5. Is this true or false? This would be true. 0 is bigger than any negative number. All right, question number 2. X, y. Every y value we're going to put in negative 7. Notice my substitutions are in parentheses. So negative 7 is greater than 1 squared is 1. The opposite of 1 is negative 1. Is equal to 0, so is negative 7 bigger than negative 5? You can think of a number line. 0, let's call this one 7, negative 7, here's negative 5, so these are smaller numbers and these are bigger numbers. So negative 7 should be smaller than negative 5, but it doesn't have that, so this would be false or not a solution. Question number 3. Every x value we're going to make 1, and every y value 2. So this will become 2 greater than or equal to negative, and what we're doing is we're testing this. X equals 1. One squared is 1, opposite of 1 is negative 1. And if you get troubles with those, you can feel free to put those in a calculator. Is 2 greater than negative 5? That is true. Question number 4. Every x value we're going to make 3. Y value negative 9. Negative 9 is greater than 3 times 3 is 9, opposite of positive 9, because it's like a negative 1 times 9 is negative 9. So that'll become negative 6, negative 5, so that'll be negative 11. True. And the last one. Every x value is going to be negative 2. Y is negative 11. So negative 11 is greater than negative 2 squared plus negative 2 minus 5. Negative 11 is greater than negative 2 squared is positive 4, and opposite of positive 4. So I'm doing this first. That's what I'm trying to say here. That's opposite of positive 4. Can you hear my puppies in my house? And that would be negative 11 is greater than negative 11. Is it bigger? No, they're equal, so this would be false. Okay, standards for mathematical content, create equations and inequalities in one variable and use them to solve problems. Represent constraints. Think of like your seatbelt. I can't spell. Constraints. By equations or inequalities, and by systems of equations and or inequalities, and interpret solutions as viable or non-viable options in a modeling context. How can I use these standards? I can learn how to graph and solve quadratic inequalities and interpret the solutions as viable or non-viable. Standards for mathematical practice. Math practice 1, make sense of math problems and persevere in them. I can explain the correspondences between inequalities and graphs of systems of inequalities and identify important features and relationships. Math practice 4, model with mathematics. I can interpret my mathematical results in the context of the situation and reflect on whether the results make sense. All right, let's go ahead and go to this launch here. Videos created with more pixels are higher quality. A digital video labeled 1080p has dimensions of 1920 by 1080 pixels, assuming that the ratio between the width and the height is 16:9. If a filmmaker wants to create a digital video that is of higher quality than 1080p while maintaining the same ratio, she can use a quadratic inequality to represent the possible heights and widths of the video that she could use. All right, so those are the answers for the lunch. Let's go over to the vocabulary words here and see if you guys know what these are. And then press play when you're ready to hear the answers. An inequality that includes a quadratic expression. So inequality, quadratic, we just call this a quadratic inequality. All right, what are the symbols for these over here? A less than looks like this. And I want to point this out to you guys, that the distance between the two dots over here is small, and over here, the distance over here is big. Some people also use the inequality signs. You know, the alligator wants to eat bigger numbers. I don't know if you guys remember that, but those are some ways for you guys to remember them. So that is a less than sign. And what I meant by a dashed line is that when we're eventually graphing these on the coordinate plane, it'll look like that. Okay. Less than or equal to. The equal to is just you basically have the same sign, but then you have a line underneath it. Greater than, so from reading it from left to right, and then greater than or equal to. Okay, so those are our inequality signs, and that is our intro to 1.7.
We doing math today, ain't got time for no games. We doing math today, all work and no play. We doing math today, listen up and behave. We doing math today, we doing math today.